I appreciate everybody coming out for this press conference. This is I'm Matt Weintraub, Bucks County DA. I'm very sorry to report that last night Middletown Township Police Department was called out to the Racquet Club Apartments for a call regarding an injured child. It's the worst kind of call we can ever respond to. And after a preliminary assessment, we did take one person into custody, and that's Jordan Thornton. He was originally taken into investigative detention and ultimately was arrested for endangering the welfare of his son, which is a felony of the second degree. His son is Julius Thornton, who has died as a result of an apparent gunshot wound to his skull. We're still investigating the nature of the act and who inflicted this wound on him and how it happened. But we felt it was imperative for public safety to make an arrest, a preliminary arrest, last night of Mr. Thornton. Julius Thornton would have turned 3 this Christmas Eve. The defendant is a 27-year-old man. He identifies his residence as being in Philadelphia. I think many of you have the police paperwork. We'll make sure that we make that available to you, the complaint and probable cause, which I'm sure can enlighten you further after my remarks. He has been remanded to the Bucks County Jail on $500,000, 10% bail. This is a joint investigation by Middletown Township Police Department and the Bucks County detectives. The case will be prosecuted by Deputy District Attorney Kristen McElroy and Assistant District Attorney Brittany Kern. I have been in touch with Police Chief Joe Barbarilla at Middletown Township Police Department. I understand that he may be willing to speak to you. I know that he was going back to the scene, to the apartments, certainly this afternoon, and we will be on scene. They'll be on scene there probably for a greater part of this day. This is some sketchy information. It's terrible information for me to have to deliver. I think that at best, and this is a very horrible at best, this is a case of essentially dereliction of duty, where perhaps the little Julius was able to inflict this wound on himself. It gets progressively worse. After that, the potential is that his father accidentally shot him, and then it gets even worse than that, where all potentialities are still on the table, where this could have been a malicious or intentional infliction. We just don't know, and that's why we need to investigate this further. But I wish I had better news. I can't tell the public that they are safe and secure and have no need to be concerned of further violence or danger to the public. That's all I have to say about this. I'll try to answer some questions, but I'm learning as I go as well. Yes?
Is the father speaking at all to try to fill in any of these gaps?
Well, I have to be artful in how I answer this. People have an absolute right not to incriminate themselves, so we don't have all of the information that we would like to have in a case like this at this time. I'm not saying that we will not get more of that information, but there are certainly some gaps in our knowledge that exist. I can say there's a lot that we need to understand about what happened in that apartment. I'm hopeful that through investigation we'll learn what happened in that apartment, but there's an equal chance that we may never be able to learn that because of lack of witnesses. There's a chance.
There was no one else home?
That's correct.
What apartment? Or you said he was from the father was from Philadelphia.
The father has a Philadelphia address. I believe this was called in by a neighbor. If you look at the probable cause affidavit, I don't even know. I'd be guessing if I told you, but if his registered address is in Philadelphia.
But do you believe that he lived there with his son? son.
I'm not sure. I think that is a reasonable inference, but I'm not sure. I don't want to mislead you, is what I'm trying to say.
What apartment building was it?
I'm not sure. I think it's reflected on the criminal complaint.
You're gonna get that to us later?
Pardon me?
You'll get that to us later?
Yes, we'll put that out in our press release.
Did the father call 911?
No,
Who did?
a neighbor.
Well, who told police that he got off the bed at first?
I'm sorry, Matt?
Who told police the child had
The father and the child the father brought the child outside of the apartment, and the child was clearly suffering from an apparent wound to his head. It was of an indeterminate nature. However, the officer that arrived on scene first, in his opinion, based on his experience, it was a gunshot wound.
So if you're able to add any color, what was the father's response when the officer was looking at the child and he says, this is a gunshot wound?
Well, you can read what's in the probable cause, and there is a little bit of enlightenment there. I can say that the father was distraught. If you read in the probable cause affidavit, the father's initial claim was that the little boy jumped and fell off a bed, but that is clearly not the case.
Was anyone else in the apartment?
Nobody else was in the apartment. No.
Is the mother around?
Yes.
Has she been informed of what happened?
Yes. And she is cooperative.
How was she?
It's her worst nightmare. So it's all of our worst nightmare. I see you all shaking your heads too. I mean, I have children. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine.
Who was the gun registered to?
Pardon me?
Who was the gun registered to?
I'm not sure yet. It's still part of our ongoing investigation. This happened about 8 or 9 o'clock last night. We've been working around the clock overnight on this, but there's a lot to process. There's a lot more to do. And that's why we wanted to, I'm sure everybody has many questions. I wanted to address at least a few of
Does the father
them.
have any felony convictions?
I wouldn't be able to tell you if he did, but I honestly don't know the answer to that. But I wouldn't be able to tell you about his prior record, even if he did. And I don't want you to infer anything from that.
Did you report with them?
Yes.
Does the mother live in that apartment?
Pardon me?
Does the mother live in that apartment?
Was not at the
I don't
time.
know if it was there at the time, but she lived there.
I believe so, but I'm not certain. And perhaps the police could elaborate on that.
Could you spell their names? Sorry, could you spell their names? The father and the son.
Jordan Thornton, Jorddan Thornton, Thornton. And young Julius is Julius Thornton, same last name.
And I'm sorry, you said Jordan with 2 D's?
2 D's in the middle, yes.
Did he pass out at the apartment or later at the hospital?
Pardon?
Did he pass away in the apartment or later in the hospital?
He was rushed immediately to the hospital, and he was declared dead on arrival, unfortunately.
Which hospital?
I believe it was St. Mary's.
Are there other children? I know that there was a reference to somebody thought there might be another child.
There were none.
There's no other children
Correct.
living in the house.
There were no other?
There's no other children living in the home.
No. No. Listen, I'm going to cut this off here. If I had more information, I'll give it to you. I'll just say, God bless you all. Thank you. God bless you.